Next up, Paperback Hero. While travelling the lonely, dusty desert highways of the Australian outback, Jack breaks the monotony by writing himself a novel. It's a trashy romance novel which he sends off to a publisher, not actually expecting to hear anything back. But a agent named Ziggy turns up wanting to publish his work. But there's just one slight problem. To save himself a slagging from his mates, Jack wrote the novel under the assumed name of local crop duster, Ruby Vale.
How's it going, kiddo?
Oh, Ziggy was just asking me about my next book.
Yeah, so if you'll excuse us.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, it's about, love and the war and honour and all that stuff.
Which war did you say?
Boer. The Boer War.
Good setting.
So Jack and Ruby have a little chat and come up with a plan that suits both parties, then head off to Sydney to try and pull it off. While Ziggy's busy trying to promote Ruby, Jack goes along as well, pretending to be her manager, but it's blatantly obvious to Ziggy who the actual author is. Meanwhile, Ruby's fiancé starts to work out a few things for himself, then he heads off to Sydney to try and salvage their relationship.
Foreplay? Clitoris? It's all double Dutch to me. Paperback Hero as the most uninspired, mismatched principal couple I've seen since Richard and Judy played Sid and Nancy way back in 1989 in Stratford. This film is hoaching with cliches, from the hard-bitten neurotic literary agent to the cuckolded fiancé who can't see the obvious when his dearly beloved trucks it down to the big city with Jack. Obviously they have to attend some posh literary soirees, which becomes a lame excuse to get Ruby out of her dungarees and into a tight red dress. And quell surprise, she scrubs up rather well for a farm girl. Jesus.
Go and grab me a drink. A champagne, please.
Vodka martini, thanks.
Thanks.
Jack, let me give you the statistics on who actually writes romance novels.
Ziggy, can we discuss business later?
No. At least 10% of romance novels are written by men.
So?
So, I'm just trying to work out whether you're a truck driver who writes books or a writer who drives trucks.
Then Jack shags the peroxide hatchet-faced agent. Why? He's supposed to be bucking the male Australian stereotypical trend. He's supposed to be a man that's empathic, touchy-feely, and in touch with his feminine side. Nah, sadly, no. He's just a moronic male who has to have the fact that Ruby loves him spelt out to him in bold black and white. And he's supposed to be the writer. Typical Australian, and not a kangaroo or aboriginal in sight.
Paperback Hero is one of those films that couldn't be more obvious about what's going to happen, even if it tried. But it's not actually all that bad. As usual, the sight of the Australian outback is breathtaking at times, and all the characters are immensely honest and likeable. There's just the problem of why, as there's actually nothing to the storyline but a feeble excuse to get two good-looking people together for a bit of romance. Paperback Hero is available to rent from March the 6th. And join us after the break for a bit of this.
Come on, Steady Boy, you will live! More silly semi-new stupidity from the Japanese in Robotrix, a film that neatly summarises their love of technology and their even greater love of taboo sexuality in all its confused glory. When a female security officer is fatally wounded in the line of duty, she is then reincarnated as a robot. She goes back to her boyfriend for a bit of hot cock fanny action and then confesses all. She says, "Darling, I'm made of wires, oil and bits out of old washing machines." Understandably, he wants nothing to do with it. He doesn't want to put his MP3 player in a floppy disk drive and have it erased, downloaded and deleted, now does he? Come on, Steph, you will live, you bastard!
因為你而家已經係一個機械人，女機械人，女機械人，你係黐線嘅。
Elsewhere, the evil scientist has transformed himself into an unstoppable robot and is on the rampage. So the now robotic Selena teams up with another fembot in an attempt to track down the psycho-scientist who has a taste for hookers. Cue the girls getting tarted up a bit, add a dash of classic Cat 3 titillation, and the girls are ready to do battle with the aforementioned scientist, who coincidentally was also Selena's killer.
Really though, Robotrix is like Transformers, but with added tit appeal. Add to that the usual tired multinational corporate takeover bid storyline, also chaste, innocent girls being pursued by men who'd really rather prefer bad girls with which they can fulfill their rather strange sexual proclivities. Isn't it time for an introduction?
Oh, I'm sorry, how rude. Hi, I'm Steph.
Hello.
Huh? Me what? Yes, well, as you can see, I've had to fashion my very own animatronic robotic version of Steph because sadly, the real Steph seems rather more interested in the ladies these days than he is in video films. Anyway, the female robot goes undercover as a hooker in order to capture and ensnare the psychotic prosy-killing replicant. But she's so damn good at the job, the next thing you know, there's a queue of men round the block that would have Mary Magdalene green with envy. And that's the paradox, you see. Because she's a robot, she can throw herself into the sex with raw, uninhibited pleasure, unlike real Japanese ladies who would suffer humiliation and familial ostracism if they so much as showed a well-turned ankle to a man. Inane, rubbishy, chauvinistic, childish bollocks, but somehow, watchable. Don't you think so, Steph? A bit watchable? Is it watchable?
Robotrix was hailed as a standard bearer for all Category 3 films when it was first released, but to be honest, it's nothing special. Just the usual blend of high-kicking, scantily clad women, mixed with comic characters and a little bit of gore. Still, it's a collector's item for fans of the genre, and for those who drool over the voluptuous Amy Yip. Robotrix is available to buy now. Next up, Final Cut, where Jude Law has died. The nation breathes a huge sigh of relief, and his nearest and dearest gather to mourn and reminisce. As they gather, they're met by Jude's real-life wife, Sadie Frost, and an intrusive camera crew, because Jude was working on a movie starring all present today, and Sadie has taken it upon herself that her tribute to her late love will be to finish his work and confront those who starred in it. Oh, so much fun.
And I thought how I should finish it would be to film today. I hope you don't mind. That's why I asked you to sign the forms. I've asked people to sign these release forms so that it gives me freedom to put them in my film, and basically it means that I own their image and I can do what I want with it. There's going to be a lot of strange stuff in here that might make you feel, I don't know, but here goes.
So, just like Jude Law, I'm bringing up a secret CCTV camera in the toilet because Steph spent an inordinate amount of time in here, and I wonder what he gets up to besides shitting. Do you know, for once, I actually agree with the statements on the box. It's a watchable, if predictable film, but it'd be too tempting and too easy to slag it off as self-indulgent petty bourgeois shite. I'm not going to do that. Do you know why? Because I'm fed up of always using the term middle class in a pejorative, insulting way. I can't go on blaming everybody else because I didn't go to the right schools and get that comfy, cosseted upbringing. It might have been true then to slag it off. It might even be true in the future to slag it off. But I'm not going to slag it off with this film, okay? It'd be too easy. I'm not doing it. Mind you, Sadie Frost is shite.
All Jude's chums have unwittingly starred in his movie as he's rigged his house with hidden cameras and edited together this footage with other stuff taken of them on camcorder. There's plenty of bathroom shenanigans from his guests as they hoover up coke like it's going out of fashion, sniff Sadie's dirty knickers, and bitch about each other openly, telling tales that they wouldn't normally talk about if they knew they were being filmed.
Okay. Oh. I can't believe it. I can't find any of my knickers. I've done a whole load of washing, and there's not one pair of knickers in there.
There you go. Try these knickers. Oh, lovely. Smell nice, smell nice. Roaming gusset.
Final Cut seems to be Jude and his friends patting each other on the back for making such an improvised original film. They expose each other's most intimate of secrets, while Jude pops up from time to time to impart his beyond-the-grave pearls of wisdom. This will appeal to those of you who swoon over the Britpack Brigade, and for those looking for real cinema made by real people. but it's basically just a big pile of wank.
Come back to me, Steph, me! Now, this might be thought of as a brave attempt at filmmaking. Brave indeed, because Sadie Frost's acting is rank. When she's crying in a later scene, I actually thought she might start laughing. Her acting is just so abysmal. Now, some people might see this as self-indulgent in the extreme, but I think that's a problem with British people because we're so terrified of being thought of as pretentious, we'd rather be thought of as thick as pig shit. So if anyone dares to rise above the parapet of affected thickosity is roundly condemned as a Nancy boy who can't be trusted in the tight spots. Final Cut is out to rent from March the 6th. Steph, come back!